Now we play a game.
We got Star Wars Unlimited. We got classic Star Wars games. We got old school D&D, independent RPGs, mini painting, Warhammer, of course, tons of other games. But first, we're gonna need some coffee here on Board Barista Productions. Hey everybody, welcome to Retro Reviews, a review show where we go through my copious amounts of role-playing books, paraphernalia, tabletop gaming stuff, one at a time, and to keep the ramble fest going, we have Tanya.
Hey, if I can find where I hide my stuff.
So, this week we are still doing Star Wars West End games. If I had not gotten the passion to buy some more books, we would have been done, but we're going to keep going for at least 5 more weeks after this one. I bought 6 more Star Wars RPG books. Only 2 of them were ones that I was like, I need to have these for my collection because I always wanted these 2. The other ones are just like, I like that. I want that. So, starting us off with the Bounty Hunters, the Galaxy Guide number 10. All right, so this is both a book for, I got all of these from Noble Knight Games, basically traded in some stuff to be able to get some Star Wars Unlimited cards that I needed, some packs I needed for the Crack-A-Pack videos. There should be or are like the current sponsor for the daily Crack-A-Packs videos right now for the last box of Jump to Lightspeed. But they're unofficially sponsoring, if you're loving these Star Wars reviews, go check it out. They got a bunch of the books still in stock. I swore I haven't bought them out yet. But a good place to go online to get copies of this stuff. Bounty Hunters is both a player's book and a GM book, so it works for both sides of the table. Mostly focuses on A New Hope to Return of the Jedi Empire era, with 3 types of bounty hunters. There is a small note on bounty hunters in the New Republic because, spoiler alert for the extended universe novels, Boba Fett always lived and kept hunting. There's Imperial bounty hunters, which are issued license to operate under the Empire. There's Guild bounty hunters, which are part of the private organization, which you kind of see in The Mandalorian with the bounty hunters guild that he was part of. And then you have independents, which have no ties to the Empire or the Guild. They just take the contracts and then deal with the bureaucracy of trying to collect from the Guild or trying to collect from the Empire. Straight up, you have the Bounty Hunter's Creed. It's the rules to live by as a bounty hunter. So this is the way for bounty hunters. People don't have bounties. Only acquisitions have bounties. So once you have a bounty on your head, you're no longer a person. Capture by design, kill by necessity. So Vader's whole no disintegrations. They're worth more if you bring him in warm than if you bring him in cold.
Okay.
No hunter shall slay another hunter. It's respect. You don't kill each other and step on each other's toes. And no hunter shall interfere with another's hunt. Once somebody's like, I called dibs on this thing, it's back off. In the hunt, one captures or kills, never both. Like if you got them captured and you can bring them in, you bring them in. If you can't capture them to bring them in, you kill them and bring them in.
Or blow them up into smithereens.
Yeah. Well, you got to bring something back to prove that it was them.
Yeah, well, in my case, I blew it up into little particles.
Lastly, no hunter shall refuse aid to another hunter. So if another bounty hunter is in danger, needs some backup, it's usually the whole by the creed, you got to help out. Next section of the book covers character creations. So this dives into like your motivations. You're trying to clear the good name of a relative who's been captured, who's been in prison, but you're trying to go after the real person that did it. You owe a bunch of money. You're trying to make money to support others. Or straight up revenge. All good motivations for becoming a bounty hunter. Boba Fett's motivation for becoming a bounty hunter is the Jedi killed his dad, and working for the Empire, you get to kill Jedi. Revenge was always a thing for him. There's character templates. So you have the Imperial bounty hunter, the Independent bounty hunter, and the Guild bounty hunter templates. It's kind of funny because the Independent bounty hunter looks like a prototype sketch of Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. Yeah, let me see if I can bring that up onto the picture for everybody. Oh yeah, it looks like a very bad prototype. It looks like Din Djarin's Mando armor crossed with a Cylon from Battlestar Galactica. Which is I think is cool that they end up like basically doing the Mandalorian series. Like feels like there's a lot of stuff they pulled the Bounty Hunter book off the shelf and started rifling through it for that show. You get suggested starting gear, if not using the template, is to have a primary weapon, 2 to 4 secondary weapons, emergency kits such as repair kit, med kit, comlink, 100 to 1,000 credits, your armor, and a beat up spaceship. And when playing a bounty hunter, you need to select your method of capture. So, how do you capture your target? Well, you might go after their friends, capture their friends to lure them into a trap. You might challenge the target straight up, be like, I'm coming for you, be prepared. And that way they get all paranoid and start running around like a chicken with their head cut off. You could be a selective connoisseur hunter. You only hunt certain people, or you only collect certain bounties of people who have done certain crimes. You could only hunt droids. You could be a flamboyant hunter, very show off and doing lots of spectacular stuff. You could be a gentleman hunter, where it's the whole thing of like, the hunt is the hunt, and if you escape, then I have to let you. If you get here, I have to let you go. You could be the seducer. You could try to get them in bed and then be like, you're under arrest. You could be the minimalist. You could have not flashy gear, just everything stripped down, bare bone basics. Sportsman, it could be like, I feel like that one is like the whole like, you have the gentleman hunter that's like all fancy and sophisticated. Then the sportsman is like basically code for like redneck bounty hunter, where it's like, all right, we're gonna get out here and we're gonna hunt them down. And I'm gonna use like an archaic. I'm gonna use a bow and arrow to be able to hunt my bounties. You got the renegade bounty hunter, which is basically almost a rebel. You got the retriever, the guy that goes out, brings them back in alive. You got the scientific, where it's like doing like forensic analysts to be able to track people down. You got the secret hand, which is like nobody knows who you are, and it's like nobody ever knows when you're coming. Mm-hmm. You got the sinister power, which is basically like your dark side force user bounty hunter. You got the tag teamer, which is basically somebody who has a partner. Taster of Blood is actually not a vampire bounty hunter. It is more of a bounty hunter that has killed and prefers to kill versus capture.
Okay.
You got the terrorist. The terrorist bounty hunter doesn't care about collateral damage. And then the tinkerer is the guy who builds all the crazy little contraptions that, like the Rube Goldberg bounty hunter. That's like, I designed this in complete and complex trap. Next chapter is the business. There's a lot to this. It goes over the Imperial permit system. So you got license, sector permits, system permits, capture permits, sample bounties, types of bounties, breaks it down. It's all the logistics of like, okay, so you say you're a bounty hunter, do you have your permit? Well, you had a permit to capture them here, you actually capture them there. Okay, that's a fee. The Imperial bounty hunter gets away with like ignoring a bunch of this, but the independent bounty hunter, the Empire is just like, we're going to pay you 10,000, and then they hand you 2,000. It's like, well, that's because you didn't have the proper fees and permits and everything.
Yeah.
And this is basically ways to hose your players and play that kind of game of like, the bounty was 10. Yeah. Well, you didn't follow all of everything, so it's only 2.
Huh.
Also
Why does
covers.
it sound like you're going to be doing something like that soon?
I would have possibly, but I think we've gone past the whole thing of like, all right, we're not paying you the full amount for all of this. We're coming after you at this point.
Yeah. Whoopsies.
So then they also cover private postings, which is basically like Hutt bounties. So the bounty that Jabba the Hutt had on Han Solo after both the city, Vader's like, okay, he captured him. We did what we needed with him. You can take him and turn him over to Jabba the Hutt. So Fett was actually paid twice for Han Solo. Illegal bounties, which is basically unregistered Hutt bounties, where they're like, oh yeah, we're just going to put a price on somebody's head and not do this for like the proper, through the Empire, through the Republic, through the New Republic. It's a black market. This bounty is on this person and we want them dead. The hunt is talking about, how a bounty hunt is played out, gives you some structures and rules for that. Modes of operation, the GM and the player advice on running bounty hunting games, which that is like a lot. Then we got hunters and notable hunters. So we covered one of these right off the bat last week on Tatooine Manhunt. Well, 2 weeks ago for the Tatooine Manhunt. We got the stats for the Kmart Blue Light Special knockoff Boba Fett Jodo cast starting off. We also got the stats for the real Empire Strikes Back bounty hunters. That's right. Zuckuss, Bosk, Dengar, IG-88, Fort Erlome, and the man himself, Boba Fett. But I'm a little bit annoyed because it says for Boba Fett's armor, see the movie guide. The Boba Fett's armor I always thought was actually in here is in another book, and I did not order that one.
Uh-oh.
Luckily, I can get it on D6 Holocron. If you just want digital copies of these books, you can get copies there as well. Plus, we have like basically all the bounty hunters from a bunch of other published adventures from the adventure journals. They correlated them in here to give you some more bounty hunters. Then we get the equipment. Almost everything in the equipment section is actually covered in the Gundark's fantastical gear. It's a lot of reprinted stuff, but it does let you have, like, if you're using the stats for some of the bounty hunters, then the players are shopping through the magazine. Like, it gives you 2 access points to have it at the table. Not bad. Only gripe in it is that it's like they reprinted all the gear stats in another book. So I felt a little bit cheapened on that aspect. Then we have the bounty hunter guilds and related agencies. So it's notes on guilds and such. And then we have an adventure in the back, 2 for the price of 1. Adventure for a team of bounty hunters to find a missing woman before the Empire does, and ruins the big bad's evil plan, because she's like, the person who hired you is like, I need you to track this down, and then you find out it's like, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. We need to go back and like help. We need to actually help her escape and stuff like that. So Cool
Okay.
little adventure.
Yeah.
I always like these books because they always put like some sort of like, okay, we talked about how to play it and everything. Now here's an adventure that's using this type of stuff for you guys to try it out and see how it goes. So that way you're like, oh, okay. So I can flip back and forth between this book, and then you can start working on your own adventures with that as inspiration, and also from the ideas you got throughout reading the book. So so what do you think if we did when we do pick up for season 2 of Spandex Squadron, maybe branch out into the bounty hunter profession?
I think so.
All right. I think if everybody's down to do that, I think that's what we might do. Like, I want to do a little bit of a time jump. So maybe hunting down some ex-Imperials for some war criminals would probably be a good idea for what happens to bring the squadron back together after so long. But all right, that is all I've got. Anything of note from you?
No. I was reviewing the adventure in the back, and that seems like a blast. Either one of them. And right now, my phone is losing its mind because it's not letting me scroll back to the page I was looking at.
Not good.
Because I wanted to read that to make sure I was reading the other parts, which is fine. But I like the fact that there's a blank bounty poster, so you can build a bounty.
Yeah, one of the great things about this game was always like the put together your own, like the stuff that you had in there that you could easily do, like the photocopying and then like cut and paste and then photocopy it again. You could definitely create like some of your own custom handouts to give to the players, and they'd actually look really cool. Like it almost taught you like new like print layout design with some of the stuff that they were like, here, have all this stuff. And so that was always really cool, like crunchy, nitty-gritty stuff that this game was kind of like special for. So all right, it was all I've got for this episode. Anything else? All right, peace.
Hey everybody, thanks for staying till the end of the episode. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Facebook at Board Barista Productions. And if you want to support us, Patreon link at the bottom.